So my story is a bit of a cautionary tale and I think it can relate to a lot of job seekers in the market today. So I like to tell this little story. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was running to FedEx. I was working in medical sales, and we had diagnostic tissue to deliver to FedEx to have it tested for cancer reasons. So I was running into FedEx, and it was the last send off of the day, and things were going great. I had a new territory that I had started, which was above my pay grade at the time. I had a great meeting with a physician earlier in the day. I was getting samples, things were moving, quota was being crushed, all of those great things. And I was standing there in FedEx and got a phone call from my manager, and she said, we're really sorry, but your position has been eliminated. So I stood there with a box of tissue in one hand and my now irrelevant phone in the other. And I remember saying, "Can you repeat that? I just want to be sure." I wasn't the only one. And she said, "No, it was, quite a few people. And also your email will be shut off by midnight." So you can imagine now that I have two problems. One, I'm out of a job. And two, everything that I've developed up to this point is going to be irrelevant in a matter of hours. So I ran home. First I mailed my FedEx package, and then I ran home and I jumped on my computer and I scrambled to save every contact, every email that was a kudos or a thank you, every sort of report that had showed a statistic that I had earned throughout the year, and all of my metrics, which you can do only so much in 4 or 5 hours. So I got all that done, and I sat back and I thought, wow, not only was this my layoff, this was my second layoff. And what I didn't know, it was the second of four. So I learned something very quickly that day, and it was start before you need to start. Prepare before it's necessary. And lucky for me, I come from a background, I've got a journalism degree from one of the top schools in the nation at Ohio University. I got my start in my career at a recruiting agency for medical and pharmaceutical sales. And then I ping ponged back between marketing and sales throughout my career. And I thought, if multiple layoffs were to happen to anyone, let them happen to me, because uniquely, I have seen every side of the equation for professional branding development. And so now all I need is a plan. So what I did was I created that plan. So instead of it being just a traumatic experience, it became, okay, well, which pieces do I need to put into place? And how can I routinely prepare so that when a huge change in my career comes, I'm ready and I'm not scrambling anymore? And so that's how Attraction Resume started. I started putting together actionable habits for my clients so that they can be ready when they want to change a job, or God forbid, the industry changes and there's a fallout and they're laid off or fired or what have you. So Traction Resume really helps support people in writing custom and outstanding credentials, but also in coaching them in the habits that they need to be successful long term by preparing along the way strategically. My advice would be twofold, although they sort of relate to each other. One, network like crazy. There has never been a time where more professionals are active online, virtually meeting and getting comfortable in that space and maximizing their influence and their outreach on LinkedIn. It is absolutely prime time for job seekers to be networking right now. If not only for the reason that uniquely in history, at least in my generation, this is the only time I can remember where there was a worldwide silver thread that connected all people. So we're all in some way facing our own challenges, but uniquely at this time with the pandemic and COVID, there's a real camaraderie across the entire world. And I encourage people to tap into that to connect with each other and support each other. The other piece of information or the other advice I would say is to create your own opportunities. So, drawing back to when I was laid off the second and the third time, neither of those companies had an outplacement resource for us. So there wasn't any coaching or job search coaching. There weren't reviews being done. It was cut and dry. We're really sorry. And, we wish you the best of luck. So it's up to job seekers today not to rely on companies necessarily to take care of them in that outplacement outreach and guidance, but to actually create their own opportunities, which includes networking, Googling anything you don't know about how you can be presenting yourself better, coming across on video and interviews better, how to network, how to be generous and have a great mindset for job searching. All of this stuff is at your fingertips. So I encourage job seekers to be creative and to create their own opportunities. One example I can give is after a layoff, without having an outplacement um, opportunity, is that I just started creating my own review sheets. So I pulled up the Microsoft Word, and created my own template that I then sent to my clients and my colleagues for them to rate and give me some feedback. And at the time, LinkedIn wasn't as robust. There weren't that many people on it that I knew. And so by sending these in the mail with a little note and appreciation for having worked with them, it was really powerful. And I received almost every single one of them back, from high profile clients to colleagues alike. So that just is a story to share that you can really be very creative with how you help move yourself forward with your career. And all you have to do is just, think of some ways to set yourself apart and not be afraid to do it. The two biggest buzzwords that I've heard are pivoting and the hidden job market. So for my services, as far as my services go, a lot of my clients are trying to get out of industries that have been really rocked by COVID. So oil and gas, event planning, things like that. So for 2021, my advice would be take a hard look at your accomplishments and try to string together what has made you uniquely stand out across those different roles. So everybody has their own unique value that they bring. So if somebody opened a company today that was called Fraction Resume, and they did everything that I did, they would still never do it exactly the way that I do, and maybe not with the exact energy that I bring. So I just encourage job seekers to know that they are unique and their value that they provide is powerful and specific to them. So using that to their advantage is going to be very important, and you can translate your skills to a lot of different industries, so don't limit yourself. And then the other piece is the hidden job market, which I know is sort of maybe a new buzzword, but if we when it comes to the hidden job market, all that means are jobs that aren't posted online already. And how you tap into that is through genuine networking. So making that a habit and building inroads with people who work at the companies you want to work at or who have the roles that you desire is how you get in front of those opportunities before they even exist. So that's really powerful too. When it comes to LinkedIn, the first thing that I consider is how I'm serving my audience. So over the years with my business, I've really incorporated my marketing and my sales training from school and from previous positions to make sure that I am narrowing down to speak directly to my target audience. So for me, for example, I work with senior and executive leaders, and they're interested in what is going to move them forward at a high level. And they're also responsible for managing a lot of people. So that comes with all sorts of factors that play into each part of their day. So my content really focuses on how to give people actionable steps to improve their mindset, how to reach larger goals without being overwhelmed by making things a habit. So when I go to write content on LinkedIn, I'm very strategic and intentional about what value can I provide to help move my clients and my audience forward? Now, I was just on a Clubhouse call the other day. I have a Clubhouse power hour every Thursday morning from 6 to 7 Pacific. And we had a speaker who was an executive storyteller, professional storyteller, and he was sharing that there are certain human emotions that are shared across the board with all people. So my content is now going to more closely include and reach those human emotions so that I'm not only providing that value, but I'm also resonating with my audience on a very core level. The ones that get the most comments and engagement are the ones where I'm giving actionable tips. So, because we just met, and I'm not sure if you followed me before, I focus a lot on activity over theory, you know, actions over just talking. And so my focus is to give actionable tips that people can implement themselves and achieve small transformations that move them forward right after they're done reading my post. So I do like theory. I love marketing theory. I love resume and job search theory. But in the end, my clients don't need as much theory as they need things they can put into place right away. So if I would weigh my content, the most impactful content that I deliver are the ones that give people actionable tips and give them a real transformation right away.